Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. If you're here to hear about the new IT alerting full release, this is the right spot, and we will be starting this webinar in 2 minutes. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's overview of the capabilities brought by the Everbridge IT Alerting full release. Just before we start presenting the new features and capabilities of the solution, there are a few things I'd like to mention. And the first of those is that I'd like to remind everybody that this webinar is only going to be about the IT alerting application on the Everbridge CEM platform. We will not cover any other feature or function brought by the Everbridge for release. But if you'd like to get more information about the Everbridge platform for release, information is available on the support website. I'd like also to mention that this webinar is being recorded and that it will be available for replay. And last but not least, at the end of this webinar, we will be happy to take any question you may have. So for you to be able to post your questions, just use the question panel that you should find on your right in the GoToWebinar application. So with that, I think we can get started. So my name is Vincent Jeffrey. I'm the Senior Director of Product Marketing here at Everbridge. And joining me today is Lisa Radley, our Director of Field Services, that many of you had the chance to meet already, I believe. So happy to have you here with us, Lisa.
Thank you.
And last but not least, joining us from the product team, Vice President of Product Management, Prashant Darisi.
Thank you very much for joining, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
So, and the three of us want to share a few things with you today. And you can see the agenda on the screen. We'll start with a quick look back at the features and functions that have been delivered over the past 3 releases. Which I find particularly interesting, especially if you're new to the Everbridge IT alerting solution. Then we'll talk about what's new with the full release. At this point, Prashant will take over and will take us for a live test drive of the new release. And believe me, this is going to be the most exciting part of this webinar. After that, Lisa will spend a few minutes explaining what it's going to take you to get up and running with those new features. Once this is done, I'll come back and we'll show you, point to you where you can find more information about the features and the overall solution. And as I said before, we'll be happy to take any question you may have. So let's get started. And let's start with a quick look back at the features and functions that were delivered in the past 3 major releases. First, I'd like to mention that there were a lot of enhancements that have been released around calendars and schedules in order to make it easy for you and for us to link groups and calendars. So again, remember, there is now no need to define incident rules anymore to link groups and calendars. We also had the same effort to make it easy to access on-call calendars with providing you with several publishing options by group, by month, by day, and so on and so forth. In the spring, we also released the quiet time feature, which allows end users to define time windows where they don't want to receive any targeted notification. That's a very popular feature. Another major feature was smart conferencing. As you can see, we delivered smart conferencing in 2 rounds, in the fall and the spring release. So again, smart conference allows you, or allows end users to jump on a conference call in 1 click, and allows administrators to monitor who actually gets on the phone, gets on the call, at what time, when they leave, and we can also record the entire conversation, which is a critical requirement for some industries, and I'm thinking finance, for instance, where the full conversation during a major incident restoration call has to be stored for compliance. Okay, and other features have been released, which I'm not going to go through at this point. So, what's new in this release? So, if we look at the IT alerting solution and its core functionalities, which include integration, dashboards, communication, on-call schedule, escalation, collaboration, and reporting, here's what is new with the full release. First, iPaaS, our integration platform as a service, which will basically help you build your own API-based integrations with any tool that you can think of. 2, interactive dashboards, which provide heat maps showing IT managers where they should focus their attention. And last but not least, one of the major enhancements brought by the full release is going to be the Slack integration. And with no further ado, I'm going to pass the control over to Prashant for the live demo.
Then I share my screen, right?
Here you go, Prashant.
Good morning, good afternoon, folks. Can you folks see a dashboard with a bunch of donuts? If everybody can, then I'll get started.
You're good.
I'm good. All right. Thank you very much. So quickly wanted to share with you folks what we are bringing under the umbrella of IT alerting. So this is one of the things that we have released. Typically, when we help our customers with their IT alerting solutions, groups, whether it is major incident management teams or DevOps teams or business continuity teams, are supporting one or many business processes. So for the purposes of convenience, we've broken the 4 business processes into 4 donuts that you see here. Service operations, which are typical problem management, incident management under the ITSM bucket, right? It's quite possible you have another team that focuses on denial of service attack, breaches, malware. You might call that security operations. You might also have a DevOps team that does continuous integration and continuous delivery. And then you may have a BCP and DR. It's quite possible you have overlaps here. It's quite possible you have a single business process that you support, but the idea is to allow our customers to be able to map different business units and business processes under these donuts, which is why if you look at the top of the screen, you're looking at priorities which are either categorized as P1, P0 or high, medium, low. So if you're following certain standard ITIL definitions, you might want to name them in a certain way. But you might have certain business units that react today using word notation. So what we allow our customers to do is to not only support multiple business processes, but also make sure that you can give them different terminologies. In fact, you could even go to the settings screen and change the names of these business processes. So as you can see under the business process here, we have 4 business processes defined. Right? Service ops, security ops, DevOps, DR, and BC ops. And as you can see, you can also try and map what type of services are available under each of these business processes. Like I said, you may choose not to have DevOps. You might choose the word major incident management as a business process and create one of those categories here. So renaming all that is quite possible as well. So that's the first big thing that we have done in our release. The other thing that we also help our customers do with what we call, so this feature that I'm showing you here is called interactive analytics. These are part of our smart analytics umbrella, and this is the first release, the interactive aspect of it. Apart from just telling you what's going on in your world in terms of incident responses, you can also go and very quickly look at the state of each of your business processes. As you can see the color coding here, when it says red, it's pretty obvious. Nobody's acknowledged this incident. When it's green, then the incident has been fully acknowledged. I think the interesting thing is what you're looking at under yellow. This means that you have set up a rule or a policy within your company that you're looking for a quorum, either one from each of the multiple groups that receive the notification or a minimum number of people from each group that needs to participate. So very quickly you will be able to see this and in fact export this to your operations view, right? And so you can export this into a large monitor or any such thing that you want so that your NOC operators are looking at this kind of data. And they can also look at the corresponding trending charts. So quickly wanted to share that with you. Apart from just giving you a 10,000-foot level of where you stand with respect to the SLAs that you have signed up with your internal business units, we also added the ability to do some trending here. So, and we help our customers do trending in 2 fashions. One is you can do the trending based on the business processes that you're supporting, which is what I'm showing you right here. So given that it's very timely, it's quite possible that given Thanksgiving time, our customers who are in the retail space will see an influx of incidents which is abnormal compared to their normal routine. Right? So one of the things you can see is do some trending analysis of the historical data that you have so that you can help your team plan the right capacity for these events. Right? So if you notice certain patterns either on Cyber Monday or Black Friday, it might help you plan much better in terms of capacity when it comes Christmas time. You'll be prepared better. So that's one way we are leveraging these smart analytics to help our customers. The other way we can leverage these analytics are also using this concept of teams. So while you might want to look at it by business process, it's also possible that you also want to see how the teams are actually performing, right? So in this case, you have a security group 1, and you really want to see what is their behavior or past behavior. And again, along with capacity planning, you can also do some capability planning here. So it's quite possible that some of the folks in certain groups are taking much longer to respond. And that might be a result of either having too fewer people with a lot of load, or you have enough number of people, but they may not have the right skill set to respond effectively. So as part of our smart analytics, this is what we are helping our customers launch. So that's the first major change that you probably will notice. And you'll see there is a new tab here. If you go to your production systems right now, it's quite likely that you will not see this tab. Now, when we get to Lisa's session, we'll figure out how to move you from where you are today, and so that you can start leveraging the benefits of what I'm showing right now. We'll have that discussion towards the end of this call. So that's one big thing that we added. The other thing that we added, which I'll quickly shift to another screen here. When we launch incidents, or let me first take you to the templates itself. You're quite familiar with this functionality, but when you go and start modifying a template, you will realize that one of the things you will be able to do is map your incident templates to the various business processes that you've defined. And like I said, you're free to rename these or reduce them or increase them from anywhere from 1 to 4. But what you will be able to do here is try and map these incident templates to the specific business process that you support. So that's one big thing. So let me quickly launch a template and show a couple of things that we are excited to share with you. So let's make an assumption here that I do have a security breach, and I intend to launch a P0 incident that affects my network. Let's call it a high priority incident and say jump on the smart channel ASAP. You can see here that there are a couple of groups that we are reaching out to, the customer support group and the network operations group, and I send the notification out. So, and then the actions that we take on this notification, again, you're pretty familiar, right? We need to figure out what method people are using, who are the contacts that receive. So in this case, I am sending it out there myself, quickly switching to my email, which I registered as one of my modes of relief. It actually tells me, hey, I need to jump on a smart channel ASAP. I need to acknowledge this message. So let me go ahead and acknowledge this message. Right? Thanks me for recording it. Obviously, when I refresh it, you will start seeing that somebody reached out to me. I have acknowledged the response. But the good part about these incidents is now I can go to my dashboard and then quickly look at the partially acknowledged incident, right? And you will see that I quickly created an incident. That's something that ends with 9756. The wonderful thing that you can do now is you can actually create a Slack channel. So now all the folks that were sent the notifications would be able to join this Slack channel. And the way this Slack channel works is we recommend that all our customers that are interested in this collaboration tool register to the general channel, right? And then when they register to the general channel, whether on the desktop or the mobile app, they will receive a notification in the general channel saying, hey, something that requires your attention has been created. Here's a specific channel ID, right? And then by clicking on it, you can actually go jump onto that specific channel, and then you can start interacting with the folks, right? For those folks where it was already created, what you can do is go to that Slack channel, right? And you'll actually see the activities that are going out there as well. So you can say, hey, the Slack channel was already created. I just want to join because I have something to say, or in a second layer of escalation, I was invited. So those are the things that you can obviously do. The other things that you folks can also do as you jump into these incidents and look at the various operations. Let's look at some of the old, maybe not on this one, I'm on the wrong screen, sorry. Per incident, you can also see who received these notifications, who responded to them, what was their trending behaviors, and then for these incidents where these groups were involved, what kind of services were impacted, right? So all this, along with the trending charts that we talked about, is something that you can see with this new release that's coming out. One of the things that we will also do when you look at particular incidents, let me take you to certain ITA incidents in the ITSM world. And let's look at some of these Slack channels. Let's say I pick this one. You can actually see that when I go into the details of the incidents themselves, you can actually see an active Slack channel. So folks can come and join this Slack channels from multiples of ways. The other thing that you folks can also do is, you see this bar chart on the top. This is the threshold. It's not very human readable right now, but we're testing this on my system. You have defined an SLA threshold of your incident response system, right? You are saying that for this type of business, this type of incident, these services and products that get impacted, my threshold is this. How far close am I within the SLA, SLO, SLM that I have signed with my company, right? And then you can look at the activities that went on, and as you can see, within the Everbridge incident itself, we have completely archived the Slack channel, so that now you can use this for not only just archival purposes today to see what was the audit of events. You can leverage this in future for a blameless root cause analysis that folks often talk about. Where we really want to take this product is that we want to be able to do natural language processing on these archived chat channels, so that we can become a little more cognitive, a little more proactive, a little more predictive in how we help our customers in this feature set. Which is why when you look at some of the things, is again a little bit of preview of what's coming next year, you will see certain active things like Slack bots, which are taking some action. Not ready for prime time yet, but I'm trying to share the sentiment of why we're archiving this data. It's not just for audit purposes, but you'll use it for knowledge base management, blameless root cause analysis, content management, and eventually get into a little more predictive way of doing your business. So by and large, I think this is what I wanted to show folks. These are two huge pieces. There are many other smaller features. For example, now when you define your groups to be the target of a particular incident template, if they have an associated calendar, we have the ability to dynamically figure out which calendars are associated with these groups and make sure that the notification goes in the right place. We have improved our SMS messaging on short codes. So you'll find most of the data in our release notes. By no means these are the only two major features, but today, given where we are, I wanted to spend most of my energy focusing on smart analytics, the trending charts, the network operations center, and the ability for your folks to collaborate to bring the resolution process faster. So that was a quick and dirty demo. I will pass the controls back to Vincent. Like I said, towards the end of this call, we'll obviously be happy to take questions, but we'll move on to the rest of the agenda from here on.
Thank you very much, Prashant. Great presentation. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask those questions right now in the question panel of GoToWebinar, and we will move on to the next session, if I can get the control.
Stop sharing. I like it.
To the next section in the program, which is to tell you how you can set it up so that it shows in your instance. So Lisa?
Go ahead, let's change that slide for me, Vincent. So as Prashant mentioned during his presentation, for some of you, you may not actually see the ITA tab that he showed within your organization. Some of you we have set it up for. The reason that is that tab needs to be enabled from the Everbridge side, and because it does add an additional tab into your environment, we wanted to work with you to get that in place because it will be added in for various roles. So we didn't want to just have it appear and then you not know exactly what to do with it. So Prashant's walkthrough today was great. We've put together a little bit of a process that will help you get these dashboards enabled and really be able to answer your questions on anything that you may want to set it up differently than what he has in place. So the process is in front of you right now. Whenever you're ready to enable the dashboards, and you can enable them on a per organization basis. So if you would first like to put it in your test organization, if you have one, we can do that, and then eventually enable it in production when you're ready. Simply contact support and let them know which organizations you'd like to have it enabled, and you really just need to say, I'd like to have the new ITA dashboards enabled. They will pass that information across to Tanya Casper, who is our Customer Success Manager, and she will reach out to schedule a quick 30-minute conversation with you just to do a quick walkthrough of the features as well as what you need to do to set it up, and then talk about how you might want it set up in your environment if it matches the processes that Prashant was reviewing, like service ops and DevOps, or if you have some other questions about how it might work better in your particular use case. Once we've completed that 30-minute conversation, we'll go ahead and enable the ITA dashboards in whichever organization or organizations you've requested us for, and then they will be in place and you will be able to make use of them from that point forward. Short and sweet.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, Vincent.
Thank you. So moving on. So if you'd like to get more information, where can you find more information? So there are different places you can go to get more information about the product, the solution, the configuration, directly from the Everbridge solution. If you select help and support, you'll be taken to the right place to find videos, documentation, and so on and so forth. For information around the solution, around data sheet, customer success stories, product videos, white papers, ebooks, and so on and so forth, you can go to italerting.com, which is a great source of resources, and you'll see that to make it easy for you to access the product, we've included a login tab, so that from IT Alerting you can now just jump into the product, and a link to the support department. Okay, so like I said, all those information are available from italerting.com. You can also follow us on different social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, we have a Twitter page, as well as a LinkedIn page, so please follow us on those media so you'll be kept updated on everything that's going on around IT Alerting. And if you're interested, we are doing a webinar next month on December the 14th, which title is when IT hits the fan, the 10 things IT pros need to know about service continuity, and this is going to be done in collaboration with Pink Elephant. And with that, we are happy to take any question you might have. So let's see in the question box what we have right now. I see one question so far, and this question is about pricing. So basically the question is, everything we've seen today, the ITA dashboard and the Slack integration, is it free of charge or do we have to pay for that? So the good news is it is free of charge and included with a valid ITA subscription. So if you have ITA today, everything we showed is free of charge. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to enter those in the question panel on GoToWebinar. No. 1, 2, and 3. So with that, I'd like to thank you again for joining us today. I'm going to thank you, Lisa and Prashant, for your time, and have a good day, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, folks. Have a great holidays. We'll talk to you soon. We do this another in December. We'll do our next release. And so come January, we'll have something new to share with you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.